we went over my into gaming in the previous episode, but there's a special mention in terms of PC gaming. And it all started with when, around the time, a few of my friends, my close friends, really started making moves into PC gaming. I was still a console boy. And yeah, I've already explained, it was easier, faster, cheaper, blah, 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 blah. But when I eventually did get around to it, it was a really interesting turning point. So to set the scene, my broke-ass sort of uni student, 19, 20-year-old self had, basically, I used my friends' computers for a lot of stuff, but I still mostly only had a console. I'd never really been able to talk my parents into buying it for me, and I had no job, /money, /fucking anything. So I did what any normal human being would do under the circumstances, and through contrived circumstances, I stole about $3,000 from my parents and then bought a gaming PC from a friend of mine. And this was the inception of Frankenrig. What is Frankenrig, you might ask? Frankenrig is a nearly 10-year-old PC now, which has none of the original components it started off with. Everything's been stripped out, replaced, at one point broken, taken halfway across the world and back, quite literally. And it's still a functioning, moving, probably praying for death rig. And I love it dearly. And it's done everything I've asked of it and more. Quite literally, in 2016, a friend of mine broke it down into bits, shoved it all into a smaller case, and sent it to Portugal for me while I was living there. So, and it worked fine. And then I brought it back inside my same backpack with only a dent to show for it, which I am still surprised to this day. I packed the thing full of shin pads and t-shirts, and somehow it stayed alive. But anyway, let's take a step back. So, Frankenrig, I can't even give you the original specs for it, but it was a pretty bad deal I got off the friend of mine who I bought it from, but it was amazing. I finally got to play all of the things I always wanted to. Like, I did a lot of catching up on even the basic things like Halo. Like, I never got to have the PC multiplayer Halo experience. I remember we did a LAN party, which was probably one of the most amazing events, where we played 8-player Diablo 2. The dungeon party we had for that was absolutely hilarious, because I think we had me playing an assassin class who was just throwing an endless stream of shurikens, one dude playing a druid who had basically the entirety of London Zoo with him, a paladin whose god was money, because every bit of armor he had basically multiplied his gold on pickup, an Amazon spear chucker, quite literally, a necromancer, so London City Morgue, and a wizard who was being played by someone who refused to spec any of the skill intelligence points into anything, so he literally just ran around smashing people like a murder hobo with a baseball club and no strength, which was just incredible. And later on we had a barbarian that could jump straight through like 2 walls underground, which was just perfect. But this took me to other things, like, for example, I could torrent now. I couldn't do that before. I had to beg friends to download shit for me. And it eventually led me to my one true love, Steam. Now, being a console boy, you kind of accepted that unless you were buying second-hand, third-hand, buying it off of a friend, you were paying 30 quid for a game. And then you go on Steam. And then there's something that's just been released 2 months ago, and it's 50% off. And then the sales come along. And that was such a cash multiplier for me, because I literally remember spending 30 quid on a copy of Fallout New Vegas, and then having it red brick my Xbox, and then seeing the Game of the Year edition not a couple of years later with all the DLCs for nothing money, comparatively anyway. I mean, I still spent stupid money on the games I was kind of invested in. One of the ones I really spent a lot of cash into was Evolve. I bought that day one for me and a couple of friends of mine, and to be fair, we got, I think, a good 40 hours of gameplay out of it, which is about as much as you can ask for, and that's now died the death. I bought the Mad Max game when it literally first came out because I was so in love with the film, and I've never wanted something to succeed and enjoyed the failure that came of it as much as I did with that game. And I think The next thing I'm really looking forward to, ironically, played on a console, is VR headsets. I got to play Resident Evil 7, new one, on a Sony PlayStation 4 VR headset, and even though the graphics went down to sort of PS2 era brickiness just from lack of focus, the internal thing isn't good enough to render HD textures. It's beautiful, and I would love to see something like that for most games. I mean, it wouldn't apply to something like Mass Effect, where it's a third-person RPG 'em up, but games like Resi Evil or Amnesia: The Dark Descent or anything Outlast that deal with like really in-your-face, intense, graphically heavy but very beautiful settings, I think would just do so well to have something like that. But I'm rubber banding back and forth at this point. If I'm truly honest, there was nothing really groundbreaking about PC gaming other than it was cheaper. I could get hold of a lot more things. PC gave me access to other things other than gaming, media, streaming, downloads, movies, the works. And I think the most unnoble thing is I spent so much time with my PC gaming playing crap games like League of Legends. God, that's literally taken 2,000-3,000 hours out of my life. And I'm pretty sure taking a few years out of it just from the stress and rage alone. I mean, fuck. I remember spending an entire week-long LAN party just playing League of Legends and being salty with my friends. Admittedly, I'd do it again in a heartbeat, but still, it was probably not very good for me. Good for me on my mental health. As a person who knows precisely dick all about how to construct and otherwise manage PCs, having a PC error is the most neuroses-creating, stroke-enabling goddamn thing that's ever happened. Like, a couple weeks back, my computer just randomly shit itself during a game of League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, and I had no idea what the hell happened. It was booting, and then I went through some shenanigans, and it turned out for some reason my graphics card shit the bed, and then I had to pay $300 to get another one, and I got a better one admittedly, but still. And I thought it was originally my hard drive, and I was like, fuck, I don't have to upload everything of that. With a console, it's either fucked or not. I fixed my Xbox with a fucking towel the first time it red ringed, and it worked. If you want to fix your PC, you either need someone in the know, or you need to pay someone goddamn bucks for it. Thankfully, most of the time I've had someone who can help me with that, but I think I probably explained it in the last episode where, for some reason, Frank and Rig started connecting to networks on Wi-Fi via a Netgear stick that didn't exist, and no one could explain what the hell was going on, and it went away after a while. I remember at some point I bought these really nice headphones, but for some reason they started playing through the speakers at the same time, which led to a really, really goddamn embarrassing time when I thought my audio was playing through my speakers at 4 in the morning, my headphones, and it wasn't. Anyway, consoles, you don't have to worry about that shit. That's my last hurrah on that particular point, but that's the end of Log 9 Part 2. Hopefully I'll manage to get my shit together and make some more soonish. Either way. See you, Starside. Bye.
For me, baby, don't you threat to leave me. You getting stressed, I said take this shit easy.